Nice button. This is an old colonial button, so it has a shank. That'll clean up really nice. Has some gilt on it. Just got a nice gold gilt button. First hole.
You know, leave it to Ron. Every time I go out with Ron, he's the first one to find something of value or something historical. Unbelievable. You know what? God bless him.
That's a great find, you know.
After Ron's early find, Noel goes back to digging his hole to see what potential relic his detector thinks it found.
Lots of rocks.
Noel uses his pinpointer to zero in on his possible find.
After your detector has picked up a signal and you've dug down and you still can't find the piece, you can put this prod into the hole and it'll pinpoint exactly where that piece is sounding off. So it's still in there. It's whatever it is. It's 5 inches down. The machine's right about that. It's the rock that has mineral in it. There is metal content in some of the stone. It's more of a mineral. Yep, that's what it is.
One thing you'll notice Noel and Ron doing after they finish digging is that they fill the hole back up. As much as they want to find treasures underground, they don't want to get anyone hurt. Ron didn't find another button from a soldier's uniform. This time, it was only a piece of what looks like a rusted nail. Noel was on the same track.
All right, this is indicating that it's a nail, so I'm not going to dig it.
Noel sticks around where the house used to be, while Ron keeps following his instincts, which takes him closer to the water.
This is kind of an iffy signal. It's fading. It sounds like it's deep. It's a hard place to dig, and it's one of those woods. Yeah, you tell me. Certainly a lot of iron there, a lot of rust. It's a heck of a signal. It's something we'll have to scrape down with a wire brush and see if we can identify it. Because I have no clue right now.
What's your best guess right now on that?
Maybe just some type of farm implement. No guesses, I'm going to be wrong, so we'll wait on this one.
Noel spends a lot of time around the old foundation of the house that once stood here. His metal detector is picking up on what he says is a lot of garbage. He was also finding plenty of nails around the location where the house once stood.
This is all over the place. I don't know what this is. More than likely trash.
Ron starts to dig up what he thinks will be just a nickel or quarter. He is right, but not about it being just any old nickel or quarter.
It's an old nickel. Very old. Very old nickel. Maybe your eyes are a little better. Can you read the date on that?
I can guess. Looks like an 1891.
Wait, what?
1891? I said it's a guess.
How's that? Is that better?
I think it says 1891. Give it a Rob. He's got younger eyes than me.
No, it's probably got worse eyes. Yeah, that looks like 1891, just looking at it.
Yeah, here it is, 1891.
I got it.
That's awesome.
1891, that's not bad.
The colonial button and the nickel needed to be cleaned up. Noel's recipe for that is pretty simple. Soak it in olive oil. The land that Noel and Ron were on is city property. They had to get the approval of DPW Commissioner Ron Lafreniere. As they do with all their digs on private property, Noel and Ron gave the DPW the option of holding on to anything they found. So they headed down to the DPW building to share their findings with the commissioner.
Morning, gentlemen. I understand you're here today to drop off a couple of artifacts that you came across during a little trip you made to Lake Williams in town here.
Well, Ron, first of all, I want to thank you for allowing Noel and I to detect on the property. It was a cold day. We picked a real cold day. We didn't stay there too long, and there was a lot of debris all over the place, but we did find a couple of nice items I want to show you and present to you. It's a pewter Tombeck button from the mid-1700s, and it's made out of pewter, and it's etched, hand-etched, and then filled in with gold gilt. And they wore them everywhere. And it has a value between $50 to $100. But it's a different kind of a piece. And the second item was a nickel. It was an 1891 V nickel. When coins come out of the ground, they're pretty well dilapidated, and so is this one. But just an interesting note on this particular design of coin, it was minted from 1883 to 1913. And the first year it was minted, 1883, it actually resembled the $5 gold piece. And people were gilting these and passing them off as $5 gold pieces. So the next year, in 1884, they came out with the cents that was added to the back in the large letters. But interesting coin, pretty tough shape, but those are the two items that we've, I guess, found in that area, other than a lot of rusted farm implements that were just useless.
In regards to the button, as luck would have it, my partner Ron, as usual, made the first find of these significant historical items. The button was found on around a foundation on Lake Williams, on city property. That foundation goes back to the 1700s. And I think one of the first, or a descendant of one of the first settlers was Lieutenant Trowbridge, who resided there in the late 1700s, early 1800s. Whether or not this belonged to him, well, that's another story. Deserves further research. As Ron stated, it's gold gilt. The gilt has worn off the flat side of the button, but the indentations, by the way, are hand carved. These are not machine done, these are hand carved. The gold gilt is left in the indentations. So it's a nice survivor from the late 1700s. This was also a sign of status and prestige to have gold gilded buttons on your coat or overcoat. And the other find, as Ron said, it's an 1891 V nickel. And what happens, because of the condition here, what happens is the New England soil and the nickel and copper that it's made out of, obviously, there's a chemical reaction that takes place over a period of 100 years or so. And that's what happens to nickel copper. If this was silver, it would have come out of the ground looking the way the day it went in.
Well, guys, I want to thank you for first coming up with the idea of visiting our facilities out at Lake Williams. Obviously, we didn't know what to expect when you first brought this to our attention, and I think both artifacts here are something that are great finds. We're going to accept these on behalf of the department, on behalf of the city, and it's my plan to have these brought to City Hall, give them to the mayor, and hopefully we'll get these on display for folks in the city to take a look at. What ultimately happens with the artifacts, I'll leave that up to the mayor, and hopefully we can find an appropriate location for these in the city. Okay, great. Thanks so much.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Noel and Ron have been metal detecting for many years. They leave the DPW hopeful to return to Lake Williams as well as other city-owned historic locations to hunt for more treasures. If the DPW commissioner has anything to say about it, they will get a chance to return.
We couldn't have expected anything better than this. The two finds are certainly something that I think have some historical relevance in the city, and clearly there are no doubt other artifacts that are lying in wait for us, and we're hoping to explore that at some point in the future.
You know, there's still a lot of history there on Lake Williams. Wherever there's a body of water, before the first settlers came, Indians were always camped around these bodies of water. That was one of their commodities, one of their resources for survival. And wherever you find encampments and that type of thing, you're going to find artifacts from maybe 5,000 years ago, who knows. And as time went on and the settlers first came here to Massachusetts, you're going to find that as well, as we proved here today.
So Noel Evers and Ron Marino will continue their digs wherever they can get permission. They do believe that Marlborough and some surrounding towns like Sudbury have some pretty good treasures laying just beneath the soil.